And I am super. Thank you so much, Arpit. Um, Hello, everyone. I hope all of you are doing good. And if you can, if you feel comfortable with it, feel free to open your cameras as well. So I'm not just talking to myself. Thank you, Melly, for being leading by example. Welcome to this space, which is getting familiar with AIESEC sales. Basically, this space is going to be centered around our ER principles. So it's going to be like a crash course, and we will have like a lot of Q&As between, but not for me, for you to kind of also test your understanding of the ER principles. So far, it's going to be like a little bit fun. Some of the questions might be let's say very obvious, just for you to also understand that ER principles are simple, but in the end we will also have a Q&A space with me and my successor here. So if you have any other suggestions, feel free to write, because we will most probably have time at the end. Okay, so this is about ER principles. Like I told you, I will be introducing you to my successor in the coming time. So objective of this session is, why do ER principles exist in AIESEC? Basically, again, like I told you, like the crash course on ER principles, what exactly are the ER principles and the models that you can know, and also some important facts. So just some joining instructions. If you can join the Slido link, because that's where we will be having our main, let's say, quiz that is there. It's going to be very often, so it would be great if you can already join it. Enter the code that is mentioned here. Let me know if you're done joining it. I am done joining it, so just let me know. Okay, I see a hi. Hello. If you have any questions, you can also write the questions in the Q&A tab. Okay, I see another. Well, I don't know if it's the same person, but never mind. I like that the questions are rolling in. Let me check how many of you are there. If you are done joining. Also, Arpit, can you help me mute Arkar? Because I can hear his audio.
Yes, I'll
Thank
do that.
you. Okay, who else is done? Amazing. Everyone, I will give you 30 more seconds. It should be easy to join. Okay. Most of you are done joining. Okay, 10 more seconds. You can keep joining. Oh, Jenshen and Eugene, we both are joining. It all sounds very surreal these days to be joining the conferences together. So very exciting. Okay, super duper. We will start now. Okay. So your first question of the session is, let's see what the question is. Why do we need ER principles in AIESEC? For this, you will have to write your name. Okay. I see 5 people joining. Principles, like your option one is to make more money as an MC, which is great. Second one is to help regional office and AIESEC International get richer and make more money, which is also great. And the third one is to take a stand or evaluate any opportunity or situation concerning your markets or your current partnership scopes. Okay, I see that 8 of us have joined, 10 of us, yay. 10 of us have responded, amazing. So 90% of us say that it's third option, which is to take a stand or evaluate any opportunity or situation concerning markets and current partnership scopes. So, okay. Yay. Our participants so far. And we saw, so the 10% is, by the way, me. I just did like a test run on the option. So, and also because I want MCs to make more money. Yes, so great job, everyone. Basically, this is the leaderboard so far. Now, just the theoretical explanation of the question that we had. So for our organization, because we are and across local realities. So that's why we need ER principles, not just to ensure that our markets are clearly segmented or that there is no conflict in how we do business development in the territories, but also if there is any opportunity or a situation which concerns your markets or your current existing partnerships on a global or a regional scale, as well as when it comes to increasing or decreasing the scope of our existing partnerships, not just yours when it comes to as an MCVP, but also mine as an RMBD or AIBD. That's why we need ER principles in the organization. So next one is get ready for the next question. Who do the ER principles benefit? This should be very obvious. So option 1 is MCs, second is AI or regional office, and third is everyone. Let's see. Okay, 2 more people. I don't know if those 2 people, okay, 1 more person left. Let's see if that person is going to be voting. If they're not, let's move ahead. Amazing, good job, people. So ER principles actually benefits everyone, not just the MCs or not just AIESEC International or Regional Office. They're for everyone, and how they benefit, we will be learning in a brief manner in the coming slides. So let's see who is leading so far. Laksita, great job. Okay, so far, what exactly are the ER principles is they are the principles to establish a framework to enable overall growth of partnerships across the AIESEC network, which means that by the definition of ER principles itself, they are meant to benefit both the parties when it comes to like you as MCs and us as AI and regional office. And why do I talk about AIESEC International and Regional Office together and not separately is because a regional office is actually not a legal entity. So whenever we talk about like regional partnerships or regional scopes of partnerships, I'm automatically also talking about AIESEC International because whenever a regional partnership is supposed to be signed, it's actually supposed to be signed by AIESEC International. So AIESEC International is the legal entity when it comes to regional partnerships as well. And also, if the partnership scope in question or in discussion is of the global scope, that's also why AIESEC International comes into the picture. Okay, so what exactly is in the ER principles? I'm not going to be taking you through all of the aspects of ER principles because all of us have access to ER principles already. I will be sharing the link as well. You can always read it. I highly, highly recommend you to actually go through them because first of all, you as an MCVP BD should be aware of the opportunities that are out there, so that you are not just following what has been done in the past in your entity, but also you're open to expanding your scopes more, even if you are an entity which does not have that much scope of, let's say, regional partnerships or global partnerships. But if you're just an entity which has more scope of, like, let's say, national BD, but still it's very important for you to be aware of what is exactly the communication flow, what are exactly the opportunities that you can perhaps explore, not just together with AI or regional office, but also together with other entities. And that those are all the things that are actually mentioned in the ER principles. And I think when it comes to the ER principles, why it's also important for you to understand is, if you are an entity who is actually planning to create something like this for your entity itself, you might have the same situation. For example, if we as a global organization have the same situation when it comes to, like, different realities, different entities, you might also have a same situation where you are handling, or where you're leading the network of BD when it comes to different local committees. So to ensure that everything is uniform and everything is very consistent as well as rule bound, so that there is nobody penetrating on another person's market and things like that. So this is also a good place for you to start. And if you are an entity which already has such systems in place, then kudos to you, because such things really make things a lot more streamlined and a lot more organized. Okay, so when I talk about, oh, just a moment. Yes. Oh, okay. So in the ER principles, here you will see what is included in the ER principles is, first of all, a collaborative framework when it comes to AI entities and regional offices. The market definition, it will define exactly like what a global partnership entails, what a regional partnership entails, and what a national partnership entails. Communication flow, in what situation you should be going to directly the company, in what situation you should be going to the global coordinator, things like that. Then we have the classification of the partnerships. Then we also have the standardizations of our products, which are mainly global volunteer, global talent, global teacher. In the coming times, I think in the next legislative meeting, we should also be, or by the next IC or something, we should also be including the new ELD products that are coming into the picture as well. And also in the ER principles, you will find the pricing standardization. There are some at the minimum pricing set. But let me just tell you something. If you are an entity that finds those pricing too expensive or something, you actually have the liberty to actually bring it forward to AIESEC International or regional office when it comes to, like, negotiating the price. So it doesn't necessarily have to be all the time the same, but that is what is recommended most of the times. And next part is the revenue share of parties engaged with GEPs and GAPs. If you do not know what GEPs or GAPs are, we will be covering that in the next slide. And the responsibility share of parties engaged. In what case is the responsibility of an MC? In what case is the responsibility of AI or regional office? So, like I told you, what is a GEP or GAP? So when it comes to our GEP, it's called our global exchange products, and these are the products that are basically our currently GTA, GTE, and GB, our main exchange products, and they can be taken by, like you would understand as well, global, regional, or entity partners, and this is the clause where you can find it. When it comes to our GAPs, these are my sweethearts. This is my favorite part of the portfolio to sell, because this is where your creativity is to the max. This is basically everything that helps you increase the exposure, appeal, and value of AIESEC. It can be a digital campaign, it can be a national conference, it can be a world's largest lesson, it can be your EVA products, it can be I don't know, it can be a flash mob, but which is, again, I'm just trying to hype it up a little bit more, so you understand like how exciting selling GAPs can be. It can be a flash mob, which is about raising awareness about youth leadership. I don't know, but this is where the maximum creativity is, because you don't necessarily have to be bound by certain products that AIESEC already has. You can actually reinvent things and create your own portfolio here. And two of very common questions that can be there is like, how do I downscale an entity account to my entity? One of the things that we as regional officers have tried to do this year is, of course, to try to work together with entities a lot. And there has been, honestly, like there has been a lot of process, a lot of progress. But the thing is, of course, me as a regional manager for BD, my MOS is to, of course, get revenue to the regional office, right? But on the other hand, there is also like the question that I get from MCPs, the times where I've presented to them that, okay, of course, we understand that you want the entities to sell to our national partners, your regional touch points and things like that. But how can also the regional office or AIESEC International benefit the entities when it comes to bringing their regional or global partners to the entities, so that first of all, they're increasing the value of the touch point that you offer in your national plenary, but on the other hand, also it's an additional revenue for you. So if I am asking you to do the sales for not to do the sales, but like include my portfolio in yours, then I should also have, I should also be able to support you in a way as an RMBD, where I am also, let's say, opening the same doors for you. Okay, so in this case, the door is always open. There is always opportunity for you to explore. But the thing is, when it comes to existing partnerships, there is a certain flow that you always have to follow. So first of all, if let's say, let's take, for example, account called DPDHL. Okay, DPDHL is a global partner and you want DPDHL in your country to engage with you. But you know that it's already a global partner. We already have a global contract with them. So for this, you will not directly approach the company in your office, in your entity, but you will do a little bit of research what the national office of that company is doing in your country. And then you will prepare about the global account in your entity, and you will email firstly to the global coordinator with the account manager in the CC, with your plan. What is your proposal and what is your plan? And if the plan is positive, which is like the GC and the account manager say like, yes, it makes sense with the global direction, or even if it's not the global direction, because also if you are, as an entity, are interested in that, it's also like good for our global partnerships to actually expand their scope rather than just like coming to our global conferences and things like that. So if it's positive, you will have a call with the global coordinator and the proposal with the support of the account manager. You will either have a meeting just with the GC or the account manager, or they might just tell you that, okay, this is good to go from our side and this is the contact. Or if you already have a contact, they can tell you that, okay, go ahead and pitch it to them. And if it's negative, the account keeps on working just with AI. So just for you, if you're somebody who is planning to explore this avenue of it, then you can do that. And more details can be found in the year principle itself. And how to ensure that my market is clearly segmented? So we have something called the global focus list. So make sure that you have updated the global focus list timely, first of all, because it's very important for us to have a clear picture of who your current partners are, and also who are the partners you're planning to approach. Of course, we understand that not every time the partners that you're planning to approach might be from your plan, but if it should be kind of like your CRM, maybe have like every 2 weeks or every month, have like a certain set of time where you are updating your global focus list timely. If there is progress in certain companies that you've already mentioned there before, you update what is the progress there. So that, why I'm saying that is because the second point, if there is a regional or global headquarter in your entity, it automatically qualifies for a regional or global partnership. Like by book definition, AI or regional office does not need to consult with you. It does not need to inform you if it's a regional or global HQ before approaching you, because it automatically qualifies for a regional or global partnership. But if it's mentioned in your global focus list, AI or regional office will always consult with you before approaching that company, which is mentioned in your focus list. And again, whatever company that AI or regional office approaches, it's always going to be a regional or global headquarter of that company. So like you will be informed of that. And in like 100% of the times, or like almost 100% of the times, how we usually function is that we always consult with the entities whenever we are planning to approach anyone at all in the market. But just for you to be aware, why updating the global focus list is very important. And also another thing for you is not just the involvement of AIESEC International or Regional Office, but it's also for you to see if there is a partner that another entity is working with. Let's say Lazada. If Lazada is working with AIESEC in Vietnam and AIESEC in Singapore actually wants to have another partnership with us, with Lazada, then they can actually take support from AIESEC in Vietnam. Let's say they can actually take more insight from AIESEC in Vietnam, how the partnership is going, how the whole partnership direction has been, and that actually makes your sales easier. So all of these things are only possible if you're aware of such things. You cannot be talking, I mean, if you want, you can talk to your fellow MCVPs BD, but having all of this information in your focus list makes things so much more easier. Okay, next. We have the quiz time. What is the question? Let's say, what can I not find in the ER principles? Let's go. Okay, I don't know if any of you are present there in the Slido anymore.
Yeah, I cannot show this question. I don't know.
Why did it happen? Wait. Yours is frozen. Okay, never mind then. We will continue. If any of you would like to write in the chat, what do you think is the correct answer for this? What can you not find in the ER principles? Global sales model, communication flow, standard pricing, revenue share model, or global focus list? Yes, okay, it's absolutely right. It's a global focus list. I see that voting is closed for some reason. I will not fix it now, but yes, great to know that most of you know the answer. The global focus list is not mentioned. I mean, it's described in the ER principles, but you cannot find the global focus list in the ER principle itself. So coming on to the next slide. We still have Laksita with the leaderboard. Next is true or false. ER principles are permanent and cannot be changed. You should be able to vote now. You should be able to vote now. Okay, you can use the slider. It makes it more exciting. By the way, most of you are right who wrote in the chat. wait for 20 more seconds. Waiting for more responses. So 6 of you have answered it. 7. I think most of you will be right. Okay, we have 12 people who joined. Yes, great job. Keep it coming. Okay, I will move on. 100%. Yes, it's absolutely false that ER principles are not permanent and they actually can be changed. How can they be changed? We will, Eugene and Jen Chuan, good job. I hope it's, I don't know if it's Jen Chuan as well, but good job, Eugene. Important note, just a side note to what we had now is actually, of course, ER principles can be found there. Be aware that every ILM, which is your international legislative meeting, basically we have IPM and IC, what happens with the MCPs, is where the principles can be changed. Usually the changes that happen every time in the ER principles is some slight definitions, or if based on some recommendation or based on something that an entity raises, or some proposal that is made from the MCPs or AIESEC International, then we have the voting and everything, and that's how things are changed in the ER principles. And that's how things have been changed in the past when it comes to revenue sharing models. How can we actually make the revenue sharing models more inclusive, more beneficial for both parties? And like I told you, like the principles can be updated and modified. They are not permanent. So who knows, the ER principles that are existing today might be entirely different 10 years from now in AIESEC. And you as MCVPs, you as entities have actually the duty to refill the global focus list for starting your term. And also, like I told you, it should be like a habit for you to be updating how the progress is with your prospects, with the companies that you're planning to actually approach during your term. Okay, when it comes to the global sales model, very exciting thing. The global sales model actually clarifies what kind of sales models are there, what kind of different kind of situations, different kind of scenarios, what sales model applies. So let's say we have entity 1, we have AI regional office, and then we have entity 2. So what happens if an entity 1 wants to take a partnership to AIESEC international or regional office level? It's called upscaling model, like you see it here. And the two-way arrows that you see here is co-selling model, which is basically one entity and AIESEC international or regional office approaching a company and selling it to them together. Then we have an entity taking their existing partnership to a regional or global touch point, but retaining that partnership on an entity level. So that is called our expansion sales model number 2. And on the other hand, if let's say it's a global partnership or a regional partnership, and I sell it to the company, sell your national touch point to that company, and I bring that company to your just national touch point and I retain that partnership, is when the expansion sales model number 1 is applied. So for example, if I have Salesforce as a regional partner and tomorrow Salesforce wants to do, let's say, something with AIESEC in Indonesia, Salesforce want to do something with AIESEC in Indonesia, and I get in touch with AIESEC in Indonesia and I talk to them about what are the opportunities that could make sense to that partner, and then we decide on a price together, and then I sell it to them, and the delivery would be on AIESEC in Indonesia. And when the AIESEC International or Regional Office is not involved and you just want to collaborate between two entities, it's called cross-selling model. So you will learn all about these things in the ER principles. It's very detailed, it's very clarified. And in case you have any confusions at all, you can approach your RMBD, which right now is me, and I have my successor already as well. And if you have any other confusions as well, we will have a person responsible for network on AIESEC International team as well, which is most probably going to be Sarah. So if it's not Sarah, you will get to know if it's somebody else. So you can always get in touch with them and talk to them about it. So quiz time. Okay, which sales model does not exist in the ER principles? Does not exist. I will wait for 10 more seconds. Okay. Okay, I see. Cross-selling model, downscale sales model. We have some disparity in the answers here. Let's see how you all did. We have Eugene slaying the game again with his knowledge on ER principles. Good job. Okay, I need to be out of the leaderboard in the next one. Okay, super. Good job. So, like I told you, there is upscale sales model, there is co-sales model, then there is cross-selling model. There is no downscale model. Downscale model by name is not there, but downscale model is basically your expansion sales model number one. Just telling you. And how do we actually separate the markets when it comes to our existing partnerships or new partnerships? The global partner is basically the contract is signed with the global HQ, but it doesn't in all cases it doesn't necessarily have to be signed with the global HQ, but the scope is always global. For example, with PwC, their HQ is, I think it's based in the US or something, but our contract is with the German headquarter, and most of their operations are actually centered from Germany. So it's also, it doesn't necessarily have to be always global HQ, but the scope always has to be global. And the partnership delivery is at least in 2 regions. Like I told you, if it's just one region, then it would qualify for regional partnership, right? And in case they are taking a global exchange product, then there is also a GC involved. And same goes with the regional partnership. The contract is with the regional HQ or with the company with the regional scope, or with the office with the regional scope. And the partnership delivery in at least 3 countries in the region or a regional touch point, and regional coordinator in case of GEP. And entity partner, the contract is with your national office, like you are very much aware of, and the partnership is delivered within the entity. And how will the revenues be shared? It's coming up. So quick quiz. Let's go. When does a partnership qualify for a regional partnership? I don't know if the poll is working. I don't see it working. Oh, it's working. Okay. Yes, it's working. Okay. I will give you 15 more seconds. Okay, I will move on. What is the scope? Any national office which is big enough, only with regional headquarter, an office with scope of at least 3 entities. And the correct answer is option 3. So you cannot sign with any national office which is big enough. And yes, ideally it has to be with the regional headquarter, but in a lot of companies, let's say, for example, there is Deloitte. Deloitte actually does not have a regional headquarter, but they have offices where their, let's say, ASEAN operations are based, or where their APAC or JPAC operations are based. And those are the offices where you can actually do a regional partnership, or where you can actually sign a regional partnership. So let's see, Laksita took the lead here. Good job. So just now coming to the models that you should be knowing. So expansion sales, I've kind of filtered down the sales models that might be beneficial for you as MCVPs. If you were there in the consultancy a couple of weeks ago, these are some of the things that we mentioned there as well. So when it comes to the expansion sales model number 2, it's actually the model where you do not have to upscale. You do not have to change the contract owner of your existing partnership. You just take a part of the regional or global portfolio and you sell it to your current existing national partners, entity partners. And this is the model that does not require a contract to be signed with AIESEC International or regional office. And you keep managing the account of this partnership. And according to this, for example, if you are an entity that sold a regional conference or something to your existing national partner, then you as an entity get 30% of the regional conference amount that you propose to them, and regional office gets 70% because again, it's the deliveries on regional office. Then we have upscale sales model, which is basically you as an entity discover that the partnership that you have right now makes more sense on a regional scale or a global scale, and that company or that partner can actually continue to buy the same products from you in the future. But what you do is that you upscale that partnership to the regional or global scope, which means that after your current contract expires, the company actually signs the contract with AIESEC International for a global or a regional partnership. So in that case, again, like I told you, that the partner will continue to uh, take the same products from you so that you do not have a loss in that. And the amount that we propose together, or the amount that you propose for upscaling that partnership to the regional global level, is a part of that amount is going to go to you. And usually whenever you're upscaling an amount, upscaling a partnership to a regional or global HQ, the amount is much higher. So that even if it's 10% or even if it's 35% or anything, you will be receiving like considerably more amount of money according to your national scope. So there is always that. And for the first 12 months, you will be receiving this. And after that, you will continue to receive your existing entity partnership amounts that you always had. And if you think that upscaling a partnership to a regional or global scope might hamper your revenue in the future, principles state, like it's mentioned there, that the whole process of upscaling has to ensure that it does not negatively affect the existing entity partnership. So there will not be any case that your existing entity partnership will be affected in any way. Just the change will be that we will be including more regional or global scope to it. And next is the co-sales model, which is basically, it's not an existing partnership for your entity, but you as an entity or me as a regional office identify a company which could be a potential regional partner or a potential entity partner. And what we do in that case is, if I am the person, or if regional office is the party which is finding the lead and booking the meeting, and I get in touch with, let's say, AIESEC in AIESEC in South Korea, and I tell them that, okay, I have a lead from Samsung, let's approach them for a regional partnership, and I have a contact and I'm booking the meeting together with them. And in the end, what happens is, if the partnership ends up happening, and in the end, if it happens that Samsung only is like, oh, but like we do not have budget right now, we would only like to have engagement with AIESEC in South Korea, and we do not want anything to do right now with the regional office of AIESEC, that is totally okay. 90% of the revenue will go to AIESEC in South Korea, and 10% of the amount would go to the regional office just for the party finding and booking the lead. Which again, in the opposite case is also true. If AIESEC in South Korea was the party which would bring the lead to the regional office, and in the end, if Samsung says that, okay, we only want regional engagements and we only want the regional or global scope of it, and we do not want to engage in national conferences with AIESEC in South Korea, then even though like they're only buying things from the regional or global portfolio, AIESEC in South Korea would still get 10% of the amount. So there is always that. So even if you're giving us a referral, it's not that you will not get anything if the partnership doesn't happen. So we have two success stories. Wait a minute. Okay, we have two success stories. So both of them, I mean, I don't think that Isabella is here, but never mind. We have AIESEC in Malaysia here. So we recently signed a partnership with Salesforce, and it was a package of 10,000 US dollars. And according to that, it was just done on a regional scope. So according to this, we just finished signing the contract, and the invoice was paid and everything. So according to that, the 10% of the amount would be shared with, would go to AIESEC in Malaysia. And most of the times, just for you to note, so we are finalizing the legalities and everything for the whole revenue sharing process, but this will be happening very, very soon. But in the most of the times, the amount is adjusted actually in the entity balance towards AI. So if your entity is going to be, let's say, paying certain amount as an affiliation fees to AIESEC International in the future, because in the COVID times, you cannot like directly do those transfers in a lot of entities. So what happens is that we actually adjust that amount. For example, if 10% of 10,000 US dollars, or if it's less than 10,000 US dollars is like, let's say 1,000 US dollars, that amount would be ideally adjusted in the next entity balance towards AI. And also this kind of reminded, but quite a few entities in AP are actually in debt. And I totally understand that most of the entities might not have scope for regional or global partnerships, but this can also be something that can make things easier for you if you're an entity in debt, that you include regional or global touch points in your national portfolios. And if you sell it to them, because that way your entity balance can be adjusted towards AI, because there will be revenue sharing, and that way you can actually look into getting that reduced. And the second success story is from AIESEC in Hong Kong. Like you see in this conference right now, we have a partner called Invest Hong Kong, and it's actually an existing partner of AIESEC in Hong Kong. And the AIESEC in Hong Kong just added the regional conference as a part of their portfolio that they were offering to Invest Hong Kong. And the delivery is, of course, on the regional office and everything. So they still remain the partner of AIESEC in Hong Kong. And there is a revenue sharing involved as well. So just for you to see, everything that depends there is entirely on your communication with the regional office. Cool. Okay. I think this would be one of your last questions for this quiz. If I bring a lead to AI or regional office and the partnerships happens, but doesn't buy anything from my national portfolio, only AI or regional office gets the revenue. I think this is very obvious. Let me check if the poll is working. Good job. Yes, this is our last quiz. I will wait for 20 more seconds. So if you're bringing as an MCVPBD lead to AIESEC International or regional office, but like I was telling you about the example from AIESEC in South Korea, that if we have a partnership with Samsung, and I'm discussing about Samsung because I really want the partnership to happen with Samsung. But yes. Okay, 5 people. I will stop at 7. Okay, I guess most of us are right. Yes, most of us are right. Congratulations, Laxita. You win this round. Yes, Arpit. Uh, Amazing. Good job, Laxita. Good job, Arkar and Eugene and Melly. Great. So just for you as an MCV PPD, the next steps would be to have a look at the regional proposal that we have. Victory, my successor, my amazing successor, is here in the call. So she and I will be working on a regional portfolio, and she will be going into planning with her team soon as well. So you will be having a regional proposal very soon, and you can have a look. Doesn't have to be anything. You don't have to do anything. Just have a look at the regional proposal. Have a look at what could be the things that you can actually sell to your current partners, or that your current partners might be interested in. And if you think that there is scope or there is a lead that could be there for your regional partnership or anything, for your entity partnership, get in touch with Victory and she shall take it forward. And stay tuned. And if you have any feedback on pricing or engagement, also approach Victory. If you find the pricing too expensive, I've had cases where entities have found the pricing to be, let's say, too pricey or things like that, because me being in the regional office might not have that much context on exactly after COVID, what is the pricing that companies find more comfortable. So very, very much open towards your feedback. If you, even if you say like the design is shit, change the design, we are even open to listening to that and adapting to that. So like just have a look at the proposal and just like have an open communication with the regional office about that. So yes, with this, if you have any questions, you can ask me now. We are actually over time a little bit, but I can take one question if you have any questions right now. Anyone?